What's up, man? John Matos of Abiotic. How you
Yes, sir.
doing?
What's good? Good, man. How you doing? Are we rolling?
We're rolling. We're recording. I mean, I'll edit the
All right,
first
cool.
first few minutes of nonsense.
All right.
But yeah, dude, have you been? How's the quarantining in Massachusetts?
I've been good, man. I've been busy. I'm a GM of a medical marijuana shop out here, so I've been still putting my fucking 40 hours a week being an essential worker and trying to stay as safe as I can because I work with a lot of immunocompromised people, patients, all that kind of shit. So just been doing my due diligence of going to fucking work, going home, wearing a mask, washing my hands, doing all that shit, and been working on a lot of music, been doing the podcast thing. So been having a good time trying to stay busy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So your podcast, The Big Shred. I mean, you launched it recently, but seems to be already picking up some steam, dude.
Yeah. Been fortunate to have some homies that I toured with and stuff like that were down to come on and just shoot the shit. And first, it spawned from just wanting to help people that I knew that had like tours canceled and all kinds of shit that were doing, you know, instrument lessons or were trying to move merch that they were sitting on a shit ton of merch from a tour that they got canceled or got sent home from. So I was like, you know what? I've got like I don't really have a huge platform or anything, but I've got a little bit of a platform. Why not use that to help out some people that I know are trying to push some lessons and shit like that to try and make up for all the money that they lost not being able to be on the road. And then I was just like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna keep doing this thing and see where it goes.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. I mean, to me, there's always that discussion that there's too many podcasts that everybody's got a podcast, but
Yep.
there's just some that are more compelling than others. Like, yeah, there is definitely too many podcasts, but we can get rid of some of them.
Yeah, yeah. And there's there's podcasts for everybody. There's and yeah, I mean, I'm working on how to make mine different, as I'm sure you are as well, like trying to find those little things to be able to separate yourself. But also I'm just having fun. I'm not taking it too seriously where I'm like worried about who else is doing what and whatever. I'm just focusing on trying to get it as good as I can get it, try and just be consistent and talk with people that I genuinely want to talk with, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I don't really have a game plan. I mean, I obviously have other projects and ideas that are going to stem from this that I'm
Right.
working on, but the podcast itself, I'm just trying to make sure I talk to people I want to talk to. I mean, I don't know if you're at that point yet with yours, but I mean, once I got rolling, I just started the emails started flooding from PR people and like talk to this band, talk to have this one doom trio from somewhere in Sweden, and they just figured out how to use the phone. So you want to talk to them? It's like maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't had my first like no yet. I'm not sure how I'm gonna I don't have a game plan for like if I need to turn somebody down. But I mean, I don't know. Hopefully not. I'm down to like I said, I want to talk to the people I want to talk to, but I'm also down to talk with whoever but what I'm trying to do is do the live stream thing. So I think that has kind of it gives me a little tiny taste of what it's like to be on stage because it's live and it's there's that feeling of just like something could go wrong and it's been cool to like have people interacting in the podcast live, so like getting questions from people and shit like that. But yeah, I'm not sure. I was actually going to pick your brain on how you are like maybe that's not a good idea for us to do this.
Well, the thing is, there's been a couple of times where I'm grateful that I'm recording and not streaming because I've had like immediate text messages right after, like, "Hey, man, can you cut that out? Because like edit that part out because people get comfortable talking to me and then they'll say stuff that they're not supposed to say, uh,
Yep.
as evidence with the recent Mastodon
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Bill was not supposed to talk about that. But hey, it benefits me, and I apologized to him. I was like, "I'm sorry, dude, my bad." And he was like, "No, it's not your fault at all." And like, thankfully, if he would have texted me before that, I would have been able to stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been other ones that, you know, I won't name names, but there's been like a band member that's on tour with another band talking shit about that other band they're on tour with.
Oh fuck.
And then like afterwards realizing like, hey, maybe don't put that out there. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I had
cut
that
it.
for the first time happen recently. And it's kind of like, yeah, dude, this is live. I can cut it for whatever's on Spotify and the streaming stuff. I can cut it for YouTube, but that shit's people saw it. So.
Yeah, whoever's here is listening and watching. So.
Right. So I mean, it's got its pros and its cons, but it's been fun and it's fun to like have a show per se that happens on, you know, certain days every week. And I'm trying to build like the Twitch thing and see if that becomes a thing. And I don't know, man, it's fucking hard. It's hard to like, it's the same shit of like being in a band. It's like you gotta be a musician, and then you gotta be a marketer, and then you gotta be a fucking graphic designer, and you gotta be a videographer, and like all the crazy shit. So, but it for me, the way that I stay sane when shit's going crazy is I just like, how can I be as busy as I can fucking humanly possibly be, and I throw shit on my plate and I try and make it work.
That's how you got to do it, man. That's the grind that gets you places. You know, there's people that are comfortable not doing that. They're just comfortable doing a day job and maybe dabbling on a hobby here or there. But like those that want to strive to do something, you have to do as much as you possibly can. And what a perfect time to do a live show too, because I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are home.
Right.
So like for me, with the reason I never have, you know, I haven't really done the show live except for live events where I used, you know, I've done a handful of, but I don't do it because I don't have the time to dedicate to like, hey guys, you know, today at 4, like, you know, tune in, and like, well, I have a job, you know, like, I'm sorry, I can't tune in at 4, but can I watch it later? So I'm always that guy of like, I'll watch it later. I try and watch live a lot, but I'll end up watching it later. And that goes for everything that I enjoy, like or pro wrestling or whatever. Like I don't watch it live. I watch it after when I can. So I don't know. I mean, I like what you're doing. I've considered doing the live stream thing too, but like I said, like I don't want to ruin someone's career in the process.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I try and make it as explicit as I possibly can that, you know, we're going live again. I don't have a huge platform or anything, so it's not like, I don't know, they're going to say something and I guess the wrong person could see or hear or whatever, but right now it's I don't think it's to that point where so many people are watching that if somebody does let something slip that shit could like come really tumbling, but maybe it is because I you know, I follow along with the live chat and like see who people that are watching. It's been sick to see like people that I look up to watching the stream and stuff. So it's been rad.
That's awesome. And by the way, I need to backtrack real quick because earlier I was making fun of a 3-piece band from Sweden. I was not talking about Monolord. Those dudes are my homies and they're awesome. I'm talking about another random ass, you know, band that no one's ever heard of. I promise.
You got to clarify, man.
Yeah.
Those bands from Sweden.
But yeah, it's funny, dude. My emails are just inundated, and I appreciate it because it gives me the opportunity to find new music and stuff. But
yeah,
you know, you were saying that you're trying to figure out how to turn people down. I just don't. I don't say anything. Okay. I don't know if that's worse, but like I just ignore the email. You know, so if it's somebody I know personally, like I've had friends from local Miami bands, and I'm just like, dude, having you on isn't going to help you, and it's not going to help me. It's not going to help anybody. Like, you want to talk? Let's talk. Let's call me. Let's have a phone call. But, you know, I'm not big enough of a name yet. Maybe after this whole Mastodon shit, but I'm not a big enough name to help your career. And I'm not, and you know, you being on, people are going to be like, who the fuck's that? And I'm not going to watch that. Right. And it's not helping anyone. Like now, if I were to get to a certain level or whatever, where, you know, like a Joe Rogan level, then sure. Yeah. I can help a homie out. I can come on in. Right. But at this point, it's like, I need to make this a valuable thing for people to tune into. So And
For sure.
I'm not. I alone am not that.
You will be, dude. You've been putting in the work, and I've seen you like, getting some huge names and stuff, which it's been awesome. I've been following for a while. I've been keeping an eye on what you've been doing. So whatever you're doing is working. So keep doing it, man.
I've been lucky. It's just been pure luck. All of this. Tell me. I know you're working on Abiotic stuff. I know you
Oh
guys
yeah.
put out a song not too long ago.
A year ago, actually. Doesn't feel like that long ago, but yeah, we
Right.
put out like a comeback single, Emerald. We self-released that a year ago, and then did a little bit of label shopping, and signed with Artisan Era at the beginning of this year. And we are starting to track drums this week, so super excited for a new full length. So hoping that'll be out, depending on like Corona bullshit and all this stuff. But the goal initially was to put it out in the fall, so I'm hoping we're basically still shooting for that deadline of getting finals turned in time to have everything ready to go for the fall.
And it's all going to be, because of the situation, you guys are not really getting together in a studio. Like this is all emails and stuff.
That's how we've been writing it, luckily. So I've got our drummer and our bass player live in Massachusetts. Our guitar player Matt still lives in South Florida, and then Travis lives out in California. So we've been kind of doing our thing, writing at home and sending shit back and forth. And then our drummer, he's actually going to be engineering the record too. So he's right now, luckily he can just like be in quarantine tracking himself. And I'll probably pop in and do some like video recording and help him out with some shit at some point. But yeah, for the most part, it's going to be everybody doing their own thing where they live. So luckily with technology and our drummer who's been doing the engineering thing for a while, I think we can get still a really great sounding product doing it in that way we're having to do it everybody at their house basically.
Yeah. And I mean the type of music you guys do kind of lends itself to be able to be done this way, because technical, and you guys are breaking everything down note by note, and kind of, I'm sure there's a lot of MIDI writing and things like that, as opposed to like a jam band or something, where you have to be in a room together to feel it, bro.
Right.
You guys are writing the music you want to play as opposed to just jamming out.
Right, exactly. And so we tried to write a tech death record like that with our first one, and it just took forever. It was crazy. So we were, original lineup, Ray and Andres and all of us fucking in a warehouse for 9 hours trying to write these songs and play them over and over again, and not having a way to listen back to these songs as listeners after we write them. It was just like the only way to listen to the song is, all right, we got to fucking play through it. And
God.
yeah, it was a giant headache, us trying to figure out like tempos and all that shit. And now it's so much easier having I have like super basic recording knowledge, so I have just enough to get by and record riffs and stuff like that. And then we Tony, our new drummer, who's, again, he's doing a lot of the engineering and producing and stuff like that. He's been a huge help in really taking these tracks to the next level with all that stuff, with, the MIDI and really kind of just spicing shit up. So he's been, I can't wait to fucking put these songs out, dude, because we haven't put music out since 2015. It's been fucking 5 years, and we've been working on this new stuff for like better part of a year and a half. I've got art for the record already that like, and I'm one of those guys, dude, that like I'm gonna send you demos of our new stuff like when we get off of this, because like I just can't not show people.
What was it that kind of sparked the fire again? You guys took a break back in like 15, 16, and it was cited that you took the break because of financial reasons and other personal reasons too. But
yeah,
like what was it that kind of made you decide like, okay, now is the time to get back in?
So it was really me being in a better place, again, financially, and kind of just like being able to get my shit together in general. We were at 100 for 4, almost 5 years, doing like 200 shows a year, and writing and recording 2 records in that time too. So with member changes and shit, I was just like super burnt out. I was like, dude, I gotta like, I'm fucking broke. I gotta get my life together. My wife has been like holding it down, paying the bills and watching the dogs and doing all this shit so like I can make my dreams a reality. And when we had that last kind of member change go down and bunch of other shit that went down, all of us were just like, we like can't right now. We're all in the wrong headspace, so we're just gonna like, I think we were a little bit rash in like calling it quits. I think we should have just kind of gone on a quote unquote like hiatus, left things open, but we were all just like a little bit sour with how a lot of things turned out, industry stuff, member stuff. So we were just like, fuck this. But in retrospect, I feel like we should have just kind of put it on pause. Right. Yeah. But so I got into the restaurant industry, got a promotion and moved up to Massachusetts. And then shortly after broke into the cannabis industry. And during that whole time I was working on a solo record, which is just, I wanted to continue like working on me being able to figure out how to record myself and just write music and shit like that. And I'd been posting stuff, and Travis, our vocalist, hit me up. He was like, dude, I see that you're writing and recording stuff. Like, let's just put an album out. There's so many people that were waiting for that third album from us. Like, we can just put it out. There's no strings attached. Like, we don't have to tour. We don't have to do anything. Let's just like write a record and put it out. And I mulled it over, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place, like, as far as writing music goes, because I'm already writing shit. So, why not? And so it was really him that kind of coerced me into doing it again. And then it kind of just snowballed, and it's also because of just like the kind of person that I am too. I knew I'm not just going to be able to make this like an internet thing, or just like put an album out and then never do anything again. Like I just can't. So we linked back up with our old management team over at EMG, Extreme Management Group, and they've been kind of grinding it out for us. And we did that comeback headliner, and then we were out with Suffocation and Belphegor. So big shout out to the Suffocation guys that are fucking always looking out for us for some reason. I don't know why. But Suffocation, yeah, I am so fucking grateful for those guys. They took us out to Europe for the first time, back in 2015 or 16, and they looked out for us now on the comeback. So it's been great, and I'm excited. I don't tour with the band full time anymore, just because of the gig, the management gig, and I've made that abundantly clear from the get-go. I've tried to make that a point that I'm not hiding anything from anybody. Like, I don't tour with the band full time. I try and do at least half of all of the tours that we do. So that Suffo tour, I did the last half. I did some dates on the headliner, and that's kind of my goal, is to do as many dates as I can. We were supposed to be playing a festival this summer. Can't say which one because it didn't get announced and it got postponed, but we should be playing a fest out. Where are you now?
Long Beach, California.
Okay, I don't know. I guess the most I can say is it's in California. So we will be out there next year is the goal, and I'll be out there at that festival. And yeah, but aside from that, man, it's been super fun just writing with Matt, the other guitar player, again. And we've got, the record is about 85-90% like done. We like to leave a little bit of wiggle room while we're recording to kind of, make some changes as we see fit or anything. But just listening through all the songs, I try and listen through the demos that we've got like every other day or something, and it just feels good to finally have another whole piece of music and ready to come out.
Is there a theme? Is there a kind of a cohesive theme to it, or is it just, writing sick-ass riffs?
There's a little bit of a theme. I'd say there's a theme lyrically. There's a theme with the art. Don't want to give too much away just yet because we're still a little bit of a ways away. But like I said, I'm gonna end up showing you. But I'm super excited. It's very different. So not necessarily super different musically. where there's a little bit more production. There's more, like you said, like MIDI. There's more instruments and like piano and keys and like really almost cinematic-y kind of stuff in some of it. And then a lot of it is like OG us and just mixed with some new elements. And we're taking a direction, certain theme with the art and all kinds of shit. So, but I think everything is us, but also pretty different, just even for the genre, which is really what we were like going for.
Yeah. So you're saying clean singing all the way through? You're saying?
So, so I will say there's no clean singing from Travis. I will say that we are purposely doing this record like a hip hop record and having mad features on it.
Ah, okay. That's cool.
So there's going to be a lot of features on this record, something different as well. I hadn't really seen a record like that with a lot of different features, and so I think it'll be fun for a lot of people who like some really talented musicians and what they would sound like in our context.
That's cool, man. I always love it when bands collaborate with each other, and even mixing genres and like sometimes that falls flat. Like, you're a Florida boy. I don't know if you remember Darwin's Rating Room.
I don't know.
Oh man, Non-Point days when Non-Point was playing in like Chili Pepper in Fort Lauderdale and whatnot. Darwin's would always open up the show, and it was a rap. It was Linkin Park.
Okay.
It was one guy rapping and one guy singing, but they ended up they were together. They were great. They did a cover of Back That Ass Up, which was phenomenal, I gotta say, and that's really what made me a fan. But then so they did a lot. They would always sell out the Chili Pepper and like other smaller venues, and
oh shit,
it was a really fun time in the Miami music scene because shows were always packed.
Yeah.
And then they got signed, and then Non-Point got signed, and kind of fell apart after that. But once Darwin's got signed, they ended up trying to put on features onto the record, and they brought Shaggy.
Oh shit.
Mr. Boombastic.
Oh shit.
And it was not good.
Oh no.
Like, no, I don't want to hate on them because those are, those dudes were great to me, and the music was fun, but man, did that not work for me anyway. So, but still, I still think people should try and mix genres and bring in guests. Like, I get it, you want to establish your band and but when you bring in homies, it just adds a whole new element. And I've been seeing a lot of it. Like today, I was watching the what is it, Slay at Home Fest.
I was just watching that before we got on. Yeah,
dude, and it was fantastic seeing like Dave Davidson with like Liam and just all the homies just working together, and I'm like, this is what it's about. I think we should do more of that.
Yeah, man, that track is fucking insane. I texted Dave right after I heard it. I was like, dude, what? I need more of this.
Yeah, I texted him like, dude, happy birthday. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was great, man. So I want more of that, and it's, it doesn't mean you have to do it full time and tour and all this, but just do a song or two here or there. That's great.
Right.
But it's cool that you guys are having a bunch of features on the new album. I would say, how many songs do you think you got?
I want to say we're in between probably 9 and 10.
Okay, that's good. That's a good album.
Yeah, I'd say I'm cheating a little bit. I'm looking at our Google Drive right now. So we're at like 10, 11 actually, and some of them may or may not make the record, but I think this time we were afforded the opportunity to write maybe even extra songs and then see what comes from those if we end up smashing some together or just maybe making some bonus tracks or some shit.
It's funny when I hear bands talk about that. Like, I've never been in a band where we write music that doesn't make it on a record.
Yeah.
Weird thing. Such a weird thing. Like, Dissever always put out everything. Didn't matter. But but I was talking to Bill from Mess, and he's like, yeah, we wrote 20 songs, but I mean, we'll probably put out like 10 or 11. I'm like, what? What do you mean? There's a whole other album. You're just gonna throw it out?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? So,
It's
yeah,
crazy to think about that.
Yeah, like so. Even hearing just one song with you guys, like, what do you mean? There's songs you're not putting on the album? What do you? How does that work?
It's you write when you're in the zone, and you write and try and get as much material as you can, I think. And then you listen back and you're like, okay, what are the bangers? Like, where can we trim some fat? Is there going to be a song as a listener that, like, this song's going to get skipped? Why is this song on the album if probably it's going to be a skip song? So, are there good parts and it's a rough song? Is it a decent song, but it doesn't have that, like, that big, I don't know, if it doesn't have that one thing that, like, makes a song stick out. So this is our comeback record. We're trying to be, like, as picky as we can possibly be to make sure that, like, every song hits as hard as the last song. And this is a record that everybody's going to be jamming all the way through,
Nice. I try to explain to people sometimes the hard work that goes into being in a band in Miami, like you guys, and like we were. And I don't know. I'm sure that every scene is different, but or similar. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
But Miami was different. Miami, because you got to think about Miami as a tourist spot, as a pop location, like hip hop, lots of hip hop, lots of reggaeton, lots of dancing and. You don't really think of metal when you think of Miami.
Right, exactly. And I was saying this, I think in an interview or maybe a podcast I was doing before, but it's like I coming up anyway, and I grew up going to your guys' shows and watching Dissever and watching 40 Winners and watching who else was I watching? Fucking Into the Moat, and
nice, yep.
I think maybe it was really just them, but when I was coming up, they were already, like, huge in my eyes. So, like, kind of an unreachable thing for me. So when we were doing the band thing and, like, starting to take it seriously, and I had a fucking notebook that said Abiotic goals, and I wrote fucking merch and music video and EP, and I wrote all that shit down for us to start knocking it out, and how much it was going to cost each member to do all that stuff to divide it up evenly. There was no, oh, you guys should do this. This is what worked for us. Or, I didn't know any bands from Miami that were doing what we were trying to do ultimately, which was, like, tour professionally.
Yeah.
So I think, like, you grow up in fucking the Bay Area in California, or you grow up in I don't know, New York or whatever, where that happens for a lot of bands. That's what, but we're lucky in Miami to, like, even get tours to just come and for us to go see the show, much less, like, make it out and drive 8 hours just to get out of Florida to, like, start a tour in Georgia or something,
Yeah. And most South Florida bands, their tour consists of Florida.
Yeah, our first
came in. We're gonna play a week or two, but it's all Florida. It's I gotta drive up, go to Orlando, go to Tampa, go to Gainesville, go to Jacksonville. Like, oh, God, man, we played so many, like, random ass spots in Florida too. Just I don't even remember the names. They were just like farm towns in the middle of nowhere. Immokalee, like, what? Who's playing there? Why are we playing shows there?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard, dude, because there's not a big. I mean, there's a crowd. I'm not gonna lie. Like, near the end of our shows there, we had a good following. Like, I think when we would play Churchill's, it was packed.
Yeah.
But that took 10 years. It took 10 years of building and playing shows in front of 4 people and playing shows at, like, random places that were just trying things out, like Drake's in Kendall. They were like, yeah, we're going to start doing shows here. And I'm like, but your walls are made of mirrors. What do you mean?
Duck Soup.
Oh, Duck Soup. 8-Bit. 8-Bit was like a warehouse. It was just a warehouse. out in the middle of nowhere. So it was, there was definitely a scene of a few hundred people that wanted to make something happen, but that was it. It was kind of like locked in. Like you said, like not a lot of the bands were trying to tour, trying to do that. Like we tried to do that and we did a tour, but we came back in so much of the red that it was just like, we can't do that again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, and yeah, it's all I can say is for anybody listening trying to do the thing, even if you're from Miami or wherever you're from, is just try and be as smart as you can early on, because you're going to be putting money into your business for a while before you see a return on investment. So
I would even just say get out of Miami. Get out. Like my buddy, our buddy Silent Mara needs to get the fuck out of Miami. And I know they never will because they're all dads now and they got families and businesses, and that's fine. But like there's all other bands that are not so metal, but like Falsetta, those dudes are all so incredibly talented. They need to get the hell out of there, man. Like they should be somewhere else doing stuff. But I feel like the talent pool has always been great in Miami. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting that push, getting that and getting other, metalheads from other parts of the country to say, well, Miami does legit have, some metal. It's not all hip hop and dance.
Yeah. And that's why, I was so proud of us and the guys when we kind of like had our little breakthrough or whatever, because, just seeing on an interview or just somewhere online, like, Miami based death metal band, I was like, you never see that anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we're famous for Creed.
Oh yeah.
Or what is it? I mean, Marilyn Manson kind of.
He was like Pompano or some shit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did play Churchill's with the Spooky Kids a lot, but
no way.
But he was a Fort Lauderdale kind of West Palm more. Yeah. And I think that's, there's not a whole bunch of other bands that we can point out that are, I mean, Poison the Well.
Yeah, Poison the Well, and then Cynic kind of.
Cynic is kind of a Miami band, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm happy that I spent the time I did there. I had a blast. My body is regretting all of the choices I made back then. I have so many like sore spots from moshing and jumping off of things and just causing chaos in Miami. But I'm happy, and I'm happy that you guys are coming back, and maybe it'll be easier for you now that you're up in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I think it'll be easier for a lot of reasons. Being up here, working with the guys that are in the band now, and not having like my entire life in this one basket of like, if this fails, then the world is over and I have nothing. So, now I'm obviously still taking it as seriously as I did before, but it's not as life and death as it was before, where every decision, and I am the band dad or whatever. So like, every decision that I make was like, fuck, I have 4 other guys' dreams in my hands, and am I making the right choice, and am I doing this? And I still have those thoughts, but now with everyone being able to take some time, get their feet under them a little bit, and with us having a little bit like this much more weight behind our name, we can kind of be a little bit pickier about the stuff that we do, and hopefully that will allow us to kind of get back into the game how I would like us to, because we just did anything that was thrown our way pretty much for the first 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think you'll do good. And like you said, you're not only are you in a better place in your life, you're in a better place, geographically, a better place financially, and technologically. We're all, you're able to put out a record right now and not have, the strain of, are we selling CDs? Are we selling, is the vinyl selling? You can just put it out and sell it on your site and recoup that money because you're engineering yourselves.
Yeah. So the Artisan Era will still be releasing that record. So they are still involved, and they're fucking awesome because they're going to be putting out some super sick vinyl for this album, which this will be the first one that we have on vinyl.
Nice.
So I'm super excited. And then the goal for sure is to get the first 2 records on vinyl as well. So we've been talking with Metal Blade about doing something like that.
Nice. That'd be great. I don't know. I think that we have a lot to look forward to in terms of new music and records and that, but I'm kind of concerned about the live shows, man. Like, even though things are opening back up now and you see more things happening, like, I still don't feel comfortable going to a show.
Yeah, I me especially, like, you know, with my job outside music, but yeah, I mean, even if I didn't work where I worked, I wouldn't feel comfortable either. And there's you know, I've been reading shit where everybody is like, we're not thinking about shows until next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the move. There's a lot of variables to it too, man, where it's like, so who are going to be the first bands to go out first? Is it going to be the big bands? Because that's who are going to be drawing the people, and will draw the people who are skeptical. Oh, I don't know if I want to risk it. Oh, but huge band is touring, so maybe I will come see huge band. Or is it going to be huge bands have enough cushion where they can wait and let baby bands, you guys go, we'll see how everything goes for you first. So we'll see, you know, if promoters are going to be paying you. We'll see if you guys get back not feeling too hot and fucking being in the hospital. Like, so right. I've been trying to, like, I have no fucking idea, but those are like kind of the 2 avenues that I'm thinking. I'm like, what's going to happen first? And from talking to labels and, you know, promoters and booking agents and all that shit, it's like there could very well be a huge systematic change in the whole industry from this. A lot of people think it's kind of archaic with how some of the guarantees work. And I was talking with somebody who was like, yeah, I mean, imagine you get a guarantee that is maybe not as big as you're used to, but you get a cut of the bar because you're bringing in those people, the bar's making X amount of dollars, whatever. So there's just a lot of variables. So I'm going to try and stay optimistic and see how things go. And we're talking a little bit with our management about next year and what we might be doing and shit like that. Some talks of like Europe and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this also makes Ticketmaster and those of the like StubHubs and you know, hopefully all the scalpers in StubHub are looking for other ways to make money now, so they can leave us the fuck alone. So
yeah, seriously, dude, fuck. But I think those are the and it's shitty, but those are the companies that are going to be able to make it through this, and then all the good ones and like all like the venues that, you know, we grew up going to and other people grew up going to in their hometowns, those venues are fucking shutting down and all that shit, and it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch when I am just like, whatever, trying to scroll on my phone for a few minutes and I see that another venue closed, you know?
Yeah, Troubadour is closing here, man, in LA. And I mean, I'm surprised Churchill's is still standing right now.
I was thinking the same shit, but I don't know, like that Churchill's is like the cockroach thing, like where it's just going to be here after the nuclear holocaust and shit.
Yeah.
Like
all the mutants are there drinking
anywhere.
at the bar, watching soccer from other mutants. Yeah, Churchill's is a fucking, I don't, you know, it's a shithole, but it's our shithole.
Right.
So what I always told people, they're like, that place sucks. I'm like, yeah, but it's our shithole, man. That's where we go party.
Exactly. I played my first show there, and it's our shithole. It's a shithole. It's not as much of a shithole now as it was 15 years ago when I started playing shows there. It's actually like the outside look, last time I was there anyway, which has been a few years, but it was looking kind of decent. They like did some road work and some like gave it a little facelift. Yeah. But yeah, those first few shows that I played, and I joke with anybody that I've seen, any bands that I've seen at Churchill's about the fucking bathroom.
Oh my God.
With the saloon doors.
Saloon doors, graffiti everywhere, at least 2 or 3 inches of piss on the floor. And piss and vomit, and toilet paper like wet but dry, if that makes any sense. You know, like it's It was wet at one point, but now it's now dried on the wall, looking wet. That place was a nightmare, but it was our nightmare. And
Yeah.
there was people filming porn in that thing, dude. The Bang Bros filmed a porn in that thing.
What the fuck, man?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know why who was getting off on that, but
I don't know. I hope somebody got paid though. That's just...
I don't think they get paid much, man. Those people are shady. I know that I was there for like the remodeling of Churchill's for a bit. Like I was there when they transitioned. They got a new owner, and
yeah.
I was working with Cigar City. We did a Cigar City takeover for a torch show at Churchill's.
Oh shit.
Which was like we had Zukov, which is this really difficult to find imperial stout on draft at Churchill's.
Wow.
And,
that's like the definition of gentrifying it. Like
yeah, it was so funny though, because like they had no idea what they were dealing with. Like the owners, they were just like, do whatever you want, man. And I'm like, all right, I'm bringing this crazy beer. They're like, whatever, we'll sell them at $4 a pop. I'm like, but you're gonna lose money.
Yeah. Like no, you don't understand.
Yeah,
this is not a Bud Light. I don't know if you get it.
Yeah, this slim keg, which is not a full keg, is a sixth of a barrel, is gonna cost you $400. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it though. We'll sell it out. I promise. I'll sell. Yeah. We were there for when they started but it was. They maintained a little bit of that element of danger to it. I mean, it's still not the cleanest place in the world.
Your car still might get broken into.
Yeah, there's this one dude outside with an orange vest. It's like, give me $5 and I won't break into your car tonight.
Yep, he's got about 9 teeth.
I used to argue with that dude because I'd be unloading gear and he's like, "What's up, brother? You got something?" I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm working too. I'm just as broke as you are right now."
Oh man, yeah, was a thing on tour in general. I was like, when we started touring, I was like, oh, that's just Churchill's, and then we'd be playing fucking Johnson City, Tennessee, like tiny thing, and people coming up as we're loading gear, like, hey, you guys got it? It's like, dude, I'm about to go buy fucking a pack of ramen noodles from the gas station to last me for the next 12 hours until we get to the venue.
Yeah, people don't get that, man. And that's the other thing. There's no money in music really, unless you're in a bigger tier. You're at that Rolling Stones level. Like if you're an independent band, or even if you're signed, but you're kind of doing smaller venues. There's no money. It's the roughest thing because you're on the road. If you got a long drive, like a 12-hour drive, say, to Texas or something, like there's gas that you got to pay, the food, there's not enough money for food. So you got to what are we doing? And I was a piece of shit. So back in the day, it was like, well, I got $5. I either eat or I get real drunk. What are we doing? I'm going to buy one of those giant, 2 giant 40s of whatever the worst beer I can find. And that'll be my dinner.
Yeah, I've seen the best of guys didn't do that same thing.
So bad for your body. But anyway, so cool. Abiotics coming back with new music. I am excited. You're working in a marijuana company. It's not a dispensary.
Dispensary, yep.
You're working at a dispensary. Okay.
Yep.
How is it out there in Massachusetts? Because in here in LA, it's like a liquor store. There's dudes giving out samples. I'm not even kidding. There's a dude in a table with a little light. He's like, "What's up? We have these new dabs." I'm like, "Fuck off! I have things to do. You want me to do a dab? Are you serious?"
Oh shit! No, in Massachusetts it's not a joke, dude. It's fucking regulations are insane. So there's no free samples. There's none of that shit. So we're a medical dispensary, and there is recreational out here as well. We're moving to be a co-located medical recreational facility, but recreational facilities, you can't give discounts. There's tons of shit. So Massachusetts has it highly regulated. I'm thinking, eventually regulations will loosen up, and it's still fairly new. So they passed the adult use in 2017, but it wasn't like Wild Wild West status like it was in California, where prior to adult use, I've been to many a dispensary in California, you know, when I was out there.
And my first experience was Denver, actually. Denver was
Nice.
the first like open, like, yeah, just show me your ID and you can walk in. I'm like,
Mine
what?
too. That was, we were out, and I still have the picture somewhere of like my first purchase, because I bought it like with my credit card, and I was just like, this is fucking sick. And that's where I got, yeah, exactly. I had the receipt and everything, and that's where I got, that's really where like I fell in love with it, was being on the road and, you know, being in a van with 5 guys, and fucking our bass player snores at like 125 dB, and fucking, you know, we don't have air conditioning in the van for several tours. So I'm like, dude, I need to get to sleep. What is going to help me get to sleep? I get fucking nausea sometimes in the van. What's going to help me like keep an appetite? And it was a huge help in those first like couple of years of touring. And then, yeah, you think, and I think this is true for a lot of people who use cannabis recreationally. It's like, you are probably using it in a medical sense without even knowing it.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel super fortunate to be able to do what I do, and, you know, wake up every day and feel like I'm making a difference in somebody's life, you know, seeing fucking Abuelita come in, and she's never tried it before, and she's been on all kinds of pills for who knows what, and then seeing her in a month and just seeing color back in her face, and how happy she is because we helped her kick X, Y, and Z fucking opiate or whatever it is, you know? And yeah, it's super rewarding, man. And especially coming from the restaurant industry, I was like, dude, I gotta get out of here, man. I can't do this shit. Yeah. I thankfully didn't do it for too long, fortunately. And props to all the people right now that are working in restaurants that are still doing the thing and helping people, you know, get food, and they're just as much essential as anybody else who's working right now. And yeah, it's just it's tough. You gotta have thick skin for that shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I just, it's fascinating to me walking around here, and, you know, I use it for medicinal purposes as well as just to get stoned.
Right.
So, you know, I have a lot of injuries and things that I have to treat, and inflammation, that the weed really helps with it.
Yep.
But, you know, I also like watching movies in a different dimension. That feels good.
Absolutely.
But it was, you know, I walked in there and I saw the dude giving away samples, and like, you know, everything's all nice and clean, and registers with, you know, you got receipts and shit. And I just think back of when I was trying to get weed in Homestead in Miami, like two hour you know, mission to, in a shady neighborhood, like parked outside of some dude's house. Dogs are barking. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die tonight. That's but I'm ready to die for some weed.
Exactly. And then like driving home, just eyes not being able to leave the fucking rearview mirror, and you got fucking a half-8er, because that's what you could grab. You got less than 2 grams on you. And in Miami, back I'm sure when we were both trying to get our smoke on, cops, like, what else is there to do if you're a cop except try and find people that have weed?
Yeah, they would take your weed and smoke it, those dudes. This is corrupt, the cops in Miami, I'll tell you that. But, you know, it's I'm grateful for that experience, though. A lot of these people don't get how easy they have it now, you know?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like, I'm grateful I had to crawl through the mud to get to where I'm at right now. Because that a lot of people wouldn't even smoke weed if they had to go to the missions we had to do. They wouldn't do it. I know it for a fact. You know, like, you would not stand outside of that house that has 26 dudes in the living room with, like, you know, 4 dogs, and it looks like they haven't cleaned that house in forever, because they're just holed up and they're selling weed, cookies, and and then that's the other thing, edibles. I would buy these cookies from this dude, and it was just like, should I eat the whole cookie? They're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, should I eat half? I mean, how many milligrams are in it? I don't know, man. Eat a quarter of it, and then 30 minutes later, if you're not high, eat the other quarter of it.
Terrible advice.
Man, I would wake up sometimes just like stuck to the couch, like, oh no, mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I'd never been able to do the dab thing. Do you dab at all?
I used to. I don't as much anymore. Just my tolerance got fucking crazy, and I was still smoking flower too. So I was just like, I understand though, like the appeal on a few levels. Like if you're from like if I'm doing the whole patient thing, if you're a patient and you don't like to smoke, if you don't enjoy smoking, you do a dab, you do one, you're where you need to be. You know what I mean? But then people fucking like anything go overboard and are doing gram dabs and are fucking going ham and you know for the culture and whatever and and that's where like it gets a little lost on me, you know. But for me, like when I was doing it, I was like, do I want to sit here and have a sesh, or am I just trying to get real high real fast?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a determining factor. But I mean, most of my friends are the weird like lifestylers, you know, like
Right.
just sending me pictures. Check out the sweet dab rig. I'm like, what? Why is it? Why do you have a science lab to get high? Like, just can I just roll up some paper and some flour and smoke it? Like I'm old school like that. Like I know I'm not that old, but I prefer that. I couldn't handle. Like, there's an element of crack to dabs that I don't like. You know what I mean? Like, there's a blowtorch involved.
Yeah, that was my first experience in 20, and it was with Undress too. In 20, oh shit, when was it? It was like 2013 probably. And we were in the Bay Area in California with our buddy Brian Shields, rest in peace. And he came out to a show. I think it was his first time seeing us. We were at the Boardwalk. I'll never forget it. We were parked outside, and you know, he's like, "Oh, you know, you guys want to smoke?" And we were like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was there with Andres, and the guy's like, "All right, sick." we're like, no, we don't do those kinds of drugs, dude. Like, like no, it's weed. I was like,
it's just
all right,
weed, man.
So we took a dab, and dude, Andres was out, son, like. And it was great. Like it's awesome. I don't knock it. I won't knock it. And you can really, you get all kinds of different flavors, which you wouldn't with like just, you know, smoking it and shit. But yeah, it just, you get a crazy tolerance, and if you really like flower too, then you end up like spending way more money than you're initially anticipated, because you're like, well, now I got to get flower and I got to get dabs, because sometimes I got to get really high really fast, and sometimes I just want to chill, and then it ends up being like you got a liquor cabinet of weed, which is not a bad thing, you know. But
I've been thankful that I've gotten like the Saints joints, dudes. They send me joints all the time, and I've now my routine is now I have this pen that I buy. I believe Blue Dream.
Nice.
And it lasts me like 2 months.
Holy shit.
Because all I do is I'll hit it a couple times while I'm doing a podcast.
Yep.
I'll hit it a couple times when I'm watching a movie, or right before bed to kind of just like, you know, for my neck pain. And what I like about it is that it's not, I don't get gone. It's just a little bit of that, you know, just to get me on that level.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I use that. And then when I want to get smoked, then that's when I smoke the joints. I'll smoke a whole joint to the face, and then I'm gone. Like that's if I have nothing to do. Like I'm off tomorrow. I have no podcasts. I'm gonna I'm gonna go for it. But I used to smoke a lot more back in Florida.
Yeah, so did I, dude.
And I get that lifestyle of like, all right, let's dab 2 or 3 times. Like the only time I ever dabbed, I think I've maybe done it once or twice, dude. And the first time I did it, I was selling beer, and I was visiting my accounts in Miami Beach, and one of the accounts was a friend of mine, Chris. He was like, "Hey man, now that we're done with business, you want to come up and smoke? You want to blaze?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, totally. Let's go smoke a joint or whatever." Get up there, he pulls out the whole rig, and I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's weed, but he didn't tell me to not hit it like weed.
Oh, dude.
So I hit it, and I'm just like, whoo, like this big pull, and I was holding it. He's like, oh no. And I'm like, what do you mean, oh no?
Oh, that's the mistake when
And
you hold it in.
I was like holding it. He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, and I just started coughing nonstop, dude. Like just to the point where I was like, I'm gonna throw up. There's nothing. I can't. And then after you're done coughing, like the coughing fucks your brain up and it makes it all shaky. And then as soon as you're done coughing, that's when it's like, whoa,
yep.
Whoa. I'm like, oh no, dude. What did I do? And I told him, I'm like, you know that I still have to visit accounts. Like I still have to work. I had a meeting. Meeting. There was a restaurant, like a pretty fancy restaurant in Miami, in Wynwood. I think it was called R or something. And I had a meeting. I was meeting another beer person, the owner of the restaurant, and the chef, who was like a fancy chef. So Chef Giorgio, whatever the fuck. I don't remember his name, but it was a fancy chef. They were like, dude,
surprise, you don't remember his name.
I can remember his name, but it was the other people, the other rep was like, yeah, man, you gotta come down here. You're gonna meet the chef. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna drink the beers, and then you're gonna explain how the beers are gonna mix in with the food, and then we got to come up with the food. We got to come up with a 5-course meal, because we're gonna sell tickets. We're gonna sell tickets. It's gonna be $50. You get 5 courses, each one with a beer. And I'm telling my buddy Chris, I'm like, am I gonna be able to do that? He's like, probably not. I'm like, I have to be there in 20 minutes, man. He's like, nope. So he walked me over there. We went to the thing. And I barely remember what happened. I just remember sitting at a table and just kind of nodding, like, And I keep it together, like, can I have some water? Yeah. And they're like, what about this beer? I'm like, I can't drink beer right now. You can drink it. Water?
Yeah.
It's like, so I don't know. Apparently I planned out a whole 5-course beer dinner with some fancy ass chef while dabbing. And I swore, I was like, I can't, dude. I'm not that kind of guy, I have a bunch of friends that are like that. They're just like, let's get fucked up. And I used to do that in my 20s.
Yeah.
The sever days, like, what you got, acid? Let's go. Nowadays I can't, man. I'm an adult. I have a job. I gotta pay my bills. I can't be a bum. And I'm not saying that if you smoke weed, you're a bum. Internet. I'm just saying, I can't operate.
Right. Yeah, it's
high level.
I used to be able to. I can't anymore. But like, I used to, especially like on the road, dude. Just like wake up wherever we are, parking lot at a McDonald's, fucking face a blunt, and just like go in the McDonald's and just like have that be my first human interaction for the day. Just like,
oh no.
And then, but no, I'm solid. No shame. I was golden. And then, yeah, dude, like I turned 30 and I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I have anxiety. And also like there's a pain. And I don't know, every day something else happens where I kind of feel like I'm dying. So I don't know. I don't know if I can do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the life, right? That's that glam rock star life that we all work for so hard.
With me, I mean, whatever. Like, I don't know. I tell the shit like it is, dude. I'm like, I try and be a transparent, like, open dude. Like, whatever I play in a metal band or whatever it is, but like, there's a whole and it's maybe to my detriment or to a fault. Because there's a whole perception around what we do as musicians and stuff, and you have to have your band has to have a certain perception, and your band is only as big as people perceive it to be. It's not even necessarily as big as you actually are. But I don't know if it's from like being from Miami or like whatever it is, but I don't know. I can't do that thing. Like I'm just like we don't make money. Like this is I'm real. Like this is what it actually is. And like I said, I don't know if that's to our benefit or not, but
Yeah, there's that element. Like, I mean, when I met the Human Abstract dudes, that's one of the things they told me because I was like, wow, you guys, they were. It was the first time I had heard of them, and they were playing a show. I think it was Ultra Room, one of those places, and they had brought their own lights, and they were like doing it. They had a dude in the back just turning on a switch and turning it off. It was just a spotlight, but it made them appear like a bigger band. And I brought that up. I'm like, what's up with that? And they were like, it's that fucking line from American Beauty. In order to be successful, you got to give off the image of success.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm with you though, man. I'm always like even when I experience success, I'm just like, wait a minute, what's the other side of this? Like,
yeah,
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, what do you mean?
And I think that's our South Florida fucking upbringing too, dude, because like it just makes you cynical.
Yeah.
It makes you like, how the fuck are you trying to take advantage of me right now?
Hey, nice to meet you. What do you want, bro?
Yeah. I can already see you want something. What's up?
Out here in LA, it's such a weird vibe, man. I feel like it's a complete opposite vibe to the Florida thing. Really? And I feel that it's also one of the reasons why I've found some kind of success out here doing what I'm doing, is that they don't have that Florida hustle out here. Like I feel like they're like a step behind. They're just kind of like, what? How'd you get in here? And I'm like, I'm already in here, bro. Sorry. I'm already in here working. What are you doing?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a different vibe that comes with living in Florida for sure, man. We're at an hour. I usually keep these at an hour, but I just wanted to touch base with you on video games. I know you play. What are you playing?
So I'm not a huge gamer, but I did just get the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I've been trying to chip away at that. With the music and the podcast and work, I don't have as much time as I like, but I'm about like 14 hours in, which is more time I've put into a video game in a long time, and I'm fucking super stoked on it. So I'm loving every minute of it and trying to get in as much as I can. What else did I just get? Before that I started The Witcher. So I was playing The Witcher 3.
Is that because of Netflix?
Kind of. So I had a homie like back when that game came out, and he was like, dude, The Witcher 3. And I was like, sick, but I have to go on a tour. I'll be back. And like, then I wasn't able to ever play. And then I watched the show on Netflix, and I was like, it's fucking $14.99 on the PlayStation Store. I was like, now's probably the time. And I picked it up, and that's another super fun one too. And then I grew up like playing the fighting games. I'm a very instant gratification gamer, I guess is the best way that I like to call it. Like I played Mortal Kombat and Tekken, and I was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z, still am, and played all the fucking Dragon Ball Z games.
Did you play the new Dragon Ball Z Fighter game?
Yeah, I have that one. Fighters. That
game rules.
Super fucking fun.
Yeah, that was kind of like a dream of mine forever, and then it finally happened. I was like, I want like a Marvel versus Capcom style gameplay with the animation of Dragon Ball. And I think, and boom, there it happened. I think they should do that treatment to Marvel versus Capcom next. Like the engine that they use for Dragon Ball Z Fighters or whatever, Fighter Z, they should make the next Marvel vs. Capcom with that, so that it's 2D but 3D models that still look animated.
Yeah, it was. That game's super fun. That game though, like, and it's really like with fucking any game, and I don't know, I just cannot even like pretend to think about going online to play those fucking games, because like I'm like, oh, I know like 5 things, and I'm sick, and then I fucking join one online match, and some like 9-year-old kid kicks my ass, and I don't want to fucking play anymore.
I'm the same way, dude. I recently I was gifted Street Fighter V, and it's the only Street Fighter I haven't played. I was like, okay, cool, sweet, and I started trying it out, and I did the story mode, and I'm like, oh, like it's like riding a bike. I'm fine. I'm good. I get online, smashed it perfect. I did not hit him once, and I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, dude.
Never mind.
Fucking when we were kids, like and you know, sounding like our fucking parents and shit when we were kids. Like, did you ever think fucking video games are going to be a job? Like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I fucking play video games and people watch.
Oh yeah. That's all I do. I
Like,
sit at home in my house, in my mom's house probably, and
yeah.
and play
And
video
bang.
games and get paid and get free shit. Like they're getting paid and they're getting free shit because the
Yep.
sponsors send them products. You know, I haven't even broken into that world of getting paid. Like I get product, I get, you know, our sponsors send me stuff and cool. I'm super grateful because I don't have
Yeah.
to spend money on weed or whatever,
Right.
you know. But you know, these kids are making bank just playing video games at home. I gotta break into that market, man. I gotta turn into a 18-year-old kid again. Do wacky zone. Whoa, guys! Welcome
What's
to the
up,
rock
guys?
and roll beer guy.
It's your boy.
It's your boy. And then like every 5 minutes, bruh,
Yeah.
bruh. I can't do it. But dude, good chat, man. I appreciate you coming on, taking time, and you know, let's do it again. We're doing it again, are we?
Yeah, we're doing it again very soon, and it'll be a little reversal here. So I'm looking forward to it.
reverse.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate joining the Rock and Roll Beer Guy alumni because you've got some heavy hitters on there. So yeah, thanks so much for having me, man.
For sure, brother. Anytime. Everybody listening, Abiotic, keep an eye out for the new album. Follow John. Where do they follow you at?
You can follow me on Facebook. Facebook is Abiotic John. Instagram is also Abiotic John. Abiotic Band on Facebook and Instagram. I think we have a Twitter, but I don't know how to use that shit. Twitch.tv/Abiotic John if you want to watch the podcast, which I do Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can watch it on YouTube as well. So Abiotic's got a YouTube. The podcast, the Big Shred podcast, has a YouTube as well. And we've got an Instagram too. So fucking follow me there. Whatever you want to do, but yeah, we've got some cool content coming out in regards to the band stuff, in regards to the podcast stuff. So if you're into it, come hang.
Sure, man. I recommend it. You know, I was impressed that, you know, I saw you starting the Big Shred and I was like, oh, cool. And then I started seeing the guest list. I'm like, oh, shit. All right. Yeah, man. I always, you know, I'm always encouraging of people doing podcasts. I don't care. Like, if you suck, I'll let you know once you start sucking.
Okay,
I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you up front, like, oh, fuck you, another podcast. No, I want to be supportive and do something awesome. So
I appreciate that, but please keep me in check if I start sucking. So, or I don't know, if I do suck, let me know.
Same here, bro. Same here. All right, man. I'm gonna close this one with a 305.
Hey, get it. I doing it the right way? Yeah.
Or maybe it's the other way because the cameras. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll do it both ways, and that way you can do some editing.
Yeah. There you go. All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right, thanks, man. Peace.
Cheers.